The presidency of George H.W. Bush challenges everything we think we know about political success, Andrew. Here was a leader who chose restraint over showmanship, compromise over ideology, and ended up shaping the modern world in ways we're still discovering today.
You know what's fascinating about Bush Sr., Pappy? He's probably the only president who could list shot down over the Pacific and CIA director on the same resume.
And that's just scratching the surface. Think about this. By age 20, he was one of the youngest naval aviators in World War II, floating in the ocean after his plane was hit, watching his crewmates die. That kind of experience shapes everything that comes after.
And you can really see how that influenced his approach to using military force later as president, can't you?
Exactly right. Take the Gulf War, for example. He built this massive coalition of 30 countries, secured the UN support, and executed a lightning-fast campaign that lasted just 42 days. But here's the key thing. He knew precisely when to stop.
That decision not to march into Baghdad was so controversial at the time. People thought he was being weak.
But look how prophetic that decision turned out to be. He understood the risks of occupation, the potential for sectarian violence, all the things that would later plague his son's presidency in Iraq.
You know what really stands out to me? The way he handled the end of the Cold War. No victory dances, no humiliating the Soviets.
Right? He actually ordered his staff not to make any triumphant statements when the Berlin Wall fell. He knew that humiliating Gorbachev could make the whole transition more dangerous. That's the kind of strategic thinking we rarely see.
Well, that brings up something I've always wondered about. How did he balance that restraint with the need to show strength?
That's such an important question. Look at how he handled Panama. When they went after Noriega, they had clear objectives, international support, and a quick exit strategy. No mission creep, no nation-building experiments.
Though his presidency wasn't all foreign policy wins, that read my lips, no new taxes pledge really came back to bite him.
But here's what's fascinating about that. He knew breaking that promise would probably cost him politically, but he did it anyway because he thought it was necessary for the country's fiscal health. That tells you everything about his character.
And speaking of character, those personal notes he wrote, something like 10,000 of them throughout his life.
Handwritten letters to everyone, from world leaders to ordinary citizens who'd lost loved ones. And these weren't just formal thank you notes. They were genuine, often emotional messages that showed real empathy.
So different from today's political communication style.
You know what else is remarkable? His domestic achievements that we're still benefiting from today. The Americans with Disabilities Act fundamentally changed how we think about accessibility and civil rights. The Clean Air Act amendments transformed environmental protection.
Though he never really bragged about any of that, did he?
That's what made him unique, this combination of achievement and humility. Even after leaving office, look at how he worked with Bill Clinton, the man who defeated him on disaster relief efforts.
And that wonderful friendship with Michelle Obama in his later years, those photos of them holding hands at events, him wearing the colorful socks she gave him.
It really speaks to how he transcended partisan politics. His 1,000 Points of Light initiative wasn't just a slogan. It reflected his profound belief that individual citizens could make a difference through service.
Looking back, it seems he was the last of a particular kind of president.
You're right. Someone who saw public service as a calling rather than a career path. And maybe that's his most important legacy, showing that authentic leadership isn't about who can shout the loudest, but about who can guide us through challenging times with wisdom and grace.
And in today's political climate, that lesson seems more valuable than ever.
You know what's really striking? His legacy actually grows more impressive with time. The way he managed the end of the Cold War, his coalition building during the Gulf War, his emphasis on public service, it all looks better and better as the years go by. Pappy, almost like we needed the perspective of time to really appreciate what he accomplished. And perhaps that's the final lesson of Bush's presidency, Andrew, that sometimes the quietest leadership can have the loudest impact, and that true strength often lies in knowing when to show restraint.